Hello, everybody, and welcome to Forever Sports. The whitewash on potentially for the All Blacks against France, and it's a bit of a rotated All Black side, a very experienced France side compared to what we saw last week. So, if there was ever going to be a game that France were going to win, it would probably be this weekend, and it's a big opportunity for them to try and finish the tour on a high. And I think any win for France on this tour would have been deemed a success given the group that they brought over. It was very much a development tour for them. They played a very inexperienced side, gave players debuts, and kind of looked to try and build the squad depth for France Rugby, which upset a lot of people because the All Blacks were saying that they want to play against France as one of the best sides in the world and have a very good and competitive series. The first game was pretty competitive. The second game, the All Blacks ran a little bit riot. Let's see what we're going to have in the third game. But Gaël Fickou brings 95 tests into that lineup himself. So it's definitely a much better French side. And I do think they'll pose a much bigger threat to an All Black side, which is slightly rotated, but I think should be able to get the job done on the day. Before we get into it, please do smash like on the video. Please do subscribe to the channel as well. Right, let's have a look at the All Black starting lineup, shall we? And some big names, missing some big names into the starting lineup. So in the front row, Ethan de Groot, Samisoni Takawawa, and Tyrell Lomax. You can't go really wrong with that front row, to be honest. It's very solid, it's very big, it packs a punch, and I expect them to have scrum dominance on Saturday. They're backed up by Patrick Tupolato and Fabian Holland, who continues to get game time, does the big number 5. So not too many changes there, but a bit of a new look back row. Samapeni Finau comes in the starting lineup, as does Luke Jacobson, and they were partner Artie Sevilla, who continues in the number 7 jersey. It's been so good seeing Savia back in the number 7. It's where he plays his best rugby. I'm not that he's bad 8. I mean, he's won World Player of the Year at number 8, but I still do think that he's better in the number 7 jersey. I think that it plays more to his strengths. And I think that, he was the best number 8 and the best number 7, but I think that, previously the All Blacks have gone and said, we can find other 7s to sort of make do. But I do think that that's his best position, to be perfectly honest. And he captains the side as well, continues to captain the side. I do think that's something that brings out a lot of good in him. I do think that he really enjoys the responsibility that comes with captaining the side. And it's a very good pack. So obviously France, build their rugby on the back of that pack. So as long as this pack operates, New Zealand should have no issues. Cortez Ratimer comes to the starting lineup, and he will partner Damian McKenzie in a brand new look pairing. No Cam Roygard, who actually drops out of the 23. No Beauden Barrett, who also drops out of the 23. I thought Cortez Ratimer last year took to international rugby like a duck to water, and looks very comfortable. Always looks very good coming on. So I think the All Blacks are, being a little bit less worried about life after Aaron Smith. You lose a generational scrum half. You're worried about what you got to bring in, and you've got the likes of Cameron Whittaker, you've got a Cortez Ratimer, and they both look very, very competent. Damian McKenzie at 10, very different type of player to Beauden Barrett. Lots of people have been calling for it, saying that he's just far more creative and has that kind of spark. And obviously, pretty good goal kicker as well. In the centres, we've got Quinn Tupai and Anton Leonard-Brown. I've always been a big Anton Leonard-Brown fan. Quinn Tupai, I think well overdue with regards to getting opportunities in that All Black side. 26 years old. He's been around the block. There's been calls for him to play a bit more. Playing just his 15th game. So he's a good player, and I think it's a good combination as well. And then you've got plenty of experience in the likes of Rico Wani and Xavier Reese on the wings, with Ruben Love at fullback. Ruben Love's a very talented player. Actually met him last year in Joburg. Very nice guy as well. Not your sort of biggest fullback, but plenty of X factor. Likes to run with the ball. Got a good turn of pace as well. So it's a very devastating back 3 if they can release them. No Will Jordan in the starting lineup. He comes off the bench, and it's a very good bench as well. We've got the likes of a George Bauer, a Dalton Papali'i, a Will Jordan to complement the inexperience of a lot of players. So if you go look at the bench, Bernie McAllister, I think, is on debut. George Bauer and Fletcher Newell in the front row. You then got Dalton Papali'i, Duplessis Karifi, who continues to get caps. Noah Hotham, Tomachi, Tabata Nuwai in the number 22, and Will Jordan in that 23. So again, a mixture of experience and youth on the bench. But if we look at talking about experience, you'll actually probably recognize some of these French players' names, even if you don't watch the top 14. I think that's always a good sign. And they've brought in a lot of important players who have got good experience. So if you look, for example, at the front row, they brought in, Baptiste Eredicio is playing as a second game. But Pierre Bourgeret's got slightly more games than Barlow. He's got 16 caps. Rabbi Slimani's got 58 caps. He's such an experienced campaigner and such a talented player as well. So that front row looks pretty solid. They've got Hugo Radu behind them and Mateus Halagu. So they've not got a lot of experience in the locks. Cameron Walkie hasn't started a game, doesn't even feature in this 23. Roman Tafanua has come off the bench both times. So they've gone with inexperience in the second row throughout the tour. Also, incredibly inexperienced back row. Alexander Fisher, just his second game. Joshua Brennan, just his second game. Mikel Julliard is his, I think it's 12th game or not there. So not a lot of experience in that back row. I think that Julliard in particular is a very good player. But I think that Nolan Garrick, for example, he's not as experienced as like for DuPont or some of the other scrum halves, but I think he's a superstar. I genuinely think he's a superstar in the making. So he is next to Anton Hastoy, who's got more caps than Sir Johns, who actually drops out the 23. Anton Hastoy, no, he's got a lot of caps, but he is more experienced. And what's very important is that this is an all La Rochelle combination. So LeGarrett next to Hastoy, they know each other from club level. I think that makes a big difference. In the centers, you've got the very talented Nicholas Deportera next to the incredibly experienced Gaël Fickou, who captains the side. He's got 95 caps to his name, does Gaël Fickou. Proper player, world class on his day. I prefer him at outside center. I think he is a bit slightly better outside center, but very competent inside center. What's amazing, he's got 95 caps. He's just 31 years old, so he's going to play another 3-4 years. We'll get well over 100 caps for France, and he's been playing for France for a long time. I think he's always been Mr. Reliability. He's been playing for France for I think it was since about 19 when he made his debut. It was something stupid like that. But he's just been so reliable and so consistent for this French side. Then you've got the likes of Gavin Vieira, who comes into the left wing, very experienced player in comparison to some of the other players there, but very talented. You've got Theo Atasogbe, the 20-year-old on the right-hand side, who's incredibly talented, and you've got Lera Barra at the back. Those three players could be featured in most French sides, to be honest. Obviously, you're going to have lots of big players to come back in, and you won't see, when Thomas Ramal comes back in, you're not going to see, there's just so much talent in that back three for France. But I think Atasogbe will be in most French sides. He's 22 years old. I'm 20 years old, and he looks like he's been playing international rugby for a while. Then off the bench, you've got Gaëtan Barlow, who's played quite a lot this tour. You've got Paul Mellors and Denver Bumba. Now, Denver Bumba coming back in is a nice player to have. And, 27 years old, 28 caps, been around the block a lot more. Romain Tufanua, 56 caps there. But after that, not much to speak of with regards to experience. You've then got the likes of Kylian Tisserand. You've got Pierre Bocheton, Thibaut Tabanya, and Emilion Gueleton. And there's not a lot of caps there at all. So, we talk about this as a much more experienced French side, while Gaël Fickou brings another 95 caps. Slimani brings 58 caps. So they bring about 150 caps between the two of them. There's probably about as many caps in the rest of the remaining sort of 13 starting lineup, and there's not that many on the bench. But it is still far more experienced than last weekend. So hopefully that means that it is a far more competitive game. I still think that it's an All Blacks game by 15 plus points, but if this French side can start well, maybe give them a bit of a scare, then who knows. I personally think it'll be a bad day for the All Blacks if they don't win by more than 15 to 20 points. I think that's the marker. If you go and win 35 points to 10, for example, I think that's all right. But I think if it's like 25 points to 10, I think, comfortable, but we should have actually probably done more to this sort of French side. What are your predictions? What do you think? Let me know down in the comments below. Smash a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel as well. We'll be live for the games. Come and join us on Saturday morning. Thank you very much for watching. My name is Steve, and I'll chat to you soon.